This is going to be a quick study of environments. I'm going to import a group of files, go into File, Import. File, not multiple files. Multiple files, even though I want multiple files will just keep on asking the same dialog loop. Do you want this file? Do you want this file? I want to do it all at once. So File, Import File. Go within that folder. Select all your objects using the Shift key. Deselect, however you usually deselect files. I'm on a PC, so PC will toggle with the Control key. Make sure everything else is unchecked because you just want the grouping of images right down here, and click on Import. Now we have our individual files in here. We're going to use this as reference for studying. Drag this one down here. And later on, you might be looking at the rain video. So just get used to looking at what rain is and how would you recreate the scene. And you'll see that coming up. Right now it's a still image. Here's a person, and maybe you want to have a person in the background, and we can use this window as some type of layer to create some distortions. Let's create up this scene with the basics. Delete everything that's here. Delete. Just do this real quickly. I'm going to start out with, let's see, this person. Just drag them into the viewport. On top of this, I want the simulation of raindrops, and I should really use a grunge map. Let me go get a grunge map also. And all a grunge map is just the image. We could build it here, or you could just import this grungy-like image. I'm going to import the grunge image. File, import, file. There's my grunge image. Another video on using grunge images. Basically, this could be used as a texture. As it is now, it's a little, can't see anything, a little opaque. Too opaque. Not a little, a lot. Making sure you have these two toggles opened up. You could go to the grunge layer and select the mode. And I'm going to select soft light. And now we have this grunginess going on. You could also play with opacity to decrease it, increase it. Besides soft light, you could try screen and overlay in different modes. Here's screen. Screen's intense. But if you pull down screen, this could look like a glass window. So we'll come back to this in a little while. Just going to turn off that layer. I have this layer right here of these droplets. And I want to combine it with the background, but not just this baiting, screening way, because as nice as that can be, it doesn't really get us anywhere where we need for it to look like a special effect. Going back to normal right now. So with the mode as normal, I'm going to look up CC glass. I'll just type in the word glass, and the type of CC glass is the stylized glass. Don't drop it on this layer. Drop it on the base layer. That's the layer with the person on it, the background layer. Make sure, I want to use this as distortion. Make sure to turn off this layer. And that layer is the raindrop layer. That's going to be hidden. Alrighty, with CC glass applied, if I turn on and off this effect by toggling it right here, you can see, well, we got some interesting art going on here. A little bubbly art being puffed out, but that's not what we're looking for. Go into Surface for the bump map, the distortion that will happen. Instead of using the person, track 3, and you can see the little track 3 poking on through here. For the bump map, use that hidden track window, which is all those little painted dots, that one. Use that for the distortion layer. Turn CC glass back on, you see that distortion. And this is the droplet layer with it turned off and the background person selected with the CC glass on it for the bump map. Don't use the person. Use that window, the window with the droplets on it. Now you'll see some distortions happening. Okay, increase the height. You can really see the distortion now. Got this mosaic. Now, if it's too intense, why is it so intense? Look at the image. That's a lot of information for it to deal with. So you might want to clean up this image or create your own image, and we'll see that in a new video. This is just a quick start. So why is it so intense? The image is kind of too grayscale. There's not enough separation between the dots. And that's why you're getting this. You can play with these different values that we'll go over in the next video. You can increase the softness. You want to have some fun with this now and play with the image mapping. I'm going to pre-comp this one layer, pre-compose, and I'll call it droplet. I'm going to go within droplet, and you can see that when I pre-composed it, this layer has switched from the original JPEG's name to the droplet name. I'm going to double-click to go within this layer, and I'm going to apply invert to flip around the image, and let's see how that affects our main timeline. We can see that now the droplets are smooth. And the reason is because white is being used to puff out things, while gradations are used to keep things stable within the plane. I could separate this image a little bit more, making it look a little more rounded by applying a color curve correction and dragging that curve down towards the right side by clicking and dragging. Now there's less gray in the background, and it's more extreme, these little semicircles happening. Going back to the main. Now from here, go back to the plugin and adjust height. Get fewer of them. And the softness, make them less intense if you want. If you want this rain to move, to flow downward, go within the droplet layer and look for motion tile. Type in the word motion, you'll find the word under stylize, you'll find the effect motion tile, and apply it to the background. You can animate the tile center. So it's easy to put a script on here. I'm just going to click this button right now. Move to the other end of time, and along the y-axis for tile center, just drag that down. Scrub your timeline, press the space bar. So there's our droplets. Going back to your original window comp, right there. This might take a little while to get into cache. Since this is a complex effect, take some resources to play it out, you might want to go into preview. And instead of previewing skipping no frames, you want maybe to skip 5 frames. And also set the preview within here down to 1/3. Even though you're not going to get the full effect watching this rain, at least you'll be productive. What about that grunge layer? Remember that? I'm going to take this grunge layer, put it right underneath droplets. I'm going to turn it on. Change the opacity a little lower. Scrub backwards. And you can preview this again. Looking at some of the resources like this, you can start to create some shapes and move them around for a lighting effect. And that will all happen either above the grunge, but most likely below the grunge layer. And let's just do one. Create a shape, making sure you have nothing selected, so this way the shape doesn't become a mask. There's a shape, right? Boring shape. I'm going to apply a Fastbox Blur to the shape just to feather it out, smooth it out. Going back under Effects, type in Fastbox Blur, just the word fast, and apply Fastbox Blur to the shape. A little safer to apply it right on the layer. Increase the radius for that Fastbox Blur. You can use transparency to decrease the intensity of that shape within the scene, or you can also play with some of the mixing modes. I think I'm going to leave it normal and just play with the transparency. Now you can have some fun animating the shape. I want it to be below everything else. So there it is below my grunge layer. Press P for position. Put a keyframe there. Go to the other end of the timeline and just drag your shape over. And there's our moment of animation. If you like that, we can repeat this shape layer. Dragging it over a little bit. And I'll use tint to colorize it. You could go back and recolorize the shape by just clicking up there. Here I'm showing, well, what if it wasn't a shape? It was some image that you imported. You could always use tint to change up the colorization of anything. Now that shape becomes red. Experiment with some of these effects and have some fun.